Hey there, true believers. Welcome to episode 26 of the Marvel Mondays initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is, of course, our discussion of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings as part of our MCU Rewind series. Before we get into our discussion, we've got a little housekeeping for you today. If you're watching on YouTube, consider dropping a like and a sub, and don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications for all our shows like the Penultimate Games Show, the Cross Media Show, and our Anime Nation Show. If you're watching on Twitch, you have Amazon Prime, and you have Amazon Prime. You have Twitch Prime, which means consider giving us one of those Prime subs. It would help us a lot. Um, I went off script, and I'm trying to go back onto it, and I can't find a way to do it.
It's okay.
We'd love if you gave it to us. So, but if not, it's quite all right. Also, just real quick, you might see me twirling a hammer as we go throughout the podcast. I'm rehabilitating a small case of tenosynovitis in my wrist, so just don't mind me, I suppose. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cristian Macias, your curator of cinema and host for the evening. Alongside me today, the friendly neighborhood co-host of all things Marvel and Destiny, the daddy-to-be, Eric Yin. Hello.
Hello. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the show.
What do you think about our placement of Guardians of the Galaxy? You missed it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Like with the list that we have going on right now, it is better. It's good. It's a good place. Good. It's better than Avengers, not as good as Winter Soldier. So I think
Perfect.
the villain ranking is good. I think villain ranking is fine. Ronan deserves to be right there, and the Stan Lee cameo, a little lower than I'd like to have been, but you know what? I wasn't here, so I didn't get a vote on it.
It wasn't that good though. It's okay.
Well, if you missed that episode, you can check it out on our YouTube page. And rounding out the war table is, of course, our one and only director of operations, Mr. Ruben Guerrero. Hello, sir.
Hey, how we doing today, fellas? It's Labor Day.
Well,
Labor Day, you know. I'm sorry to put you guys to work, but that's just how it is.
this is fun for me.
Good.
I've been wanting to talk about this movie for a minute, so
Well, here we are.
here we are. We've got some stream updates for you. Ruben, I'm going to pass the mic to you. I don't know what we're doing this week.
Oh, I don't know what we're doing this week either. I am still playing Ghost of Tsushima, Iki Island expansion, and I started thinking something came to Game Pass this past week, and I was like, you know what, I should really get back to playing that game. Do you guys know what game that was?
Hades?
Psychonauts 2.
No, I'm sorry.
Final
Christian,
Fantasy?
that was a really bad game. Eric,
What?
Eric, I'm not gonna talk shit about Psychonauts 2. I'm not a fan of the series, so I'm not gonna touch that game. Yeah, it was Final Fantasy 13, and you know what? I'm thinking after I finish Iki Island, I should just play Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, 13 Lightning Returns, then go back to Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade just to finish intermission, and then go to Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 10-2.
I think you. Oh, whoa, easy there. I think you need to.
I mean, I
divvy up
am
the Final Fantasy. That's
back
too much.
on. No, I'm back on my shit, Eric. Okay.
How
After
how many of these games are the Final Fantasy? You can only have one Final Fantasy. You can't have 3 different 13s of the same Final
first
Fantasy.
off, don't you dare talk shit about
You
13.
get it?
Okay.
Which one's the last one? Which fantasy's the last? Which one's the final one?
Lightning Returns, and then they changed the destiny of the whole series. Okay, throughout each and every one. So
I mean, how is every game the Final Fantasy? Wouldn't the first one
it's
be
a
the
Final Fantasy of
It's the
somebody
final
else.
game.
It's the Final Fantasy of someone's.
Oh,
So
I actually kind of like that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go.
You got me.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a Final Fantasy kick and start from. I know I just said start from 13, but fuck it, I'm starting from 10. I'm gonna be replaying Final Fantasy 10 after my Iki Island playthrough.
Okay, this for stream.
Yes.
Okay, I brought it back. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, there we have it,
There we
folks. Let's get into some Marvel news before our big topic of the show. We've got a few stuff here for you. We always started off with our little mini review of What If. Of course, the 4th episode came out last week, titled "What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands." Eric, did you watch the episode?
I did. I watched them last night.
What'd you think?
So I think the Doctor Strange one was easily the best one so far. Like I said, since we had the hurricane last week, I couldn't watch the 3rd episode on time, so I caught up on that one too. I thought it was good. Thought it was neat. But yeah, definitely the Doctor Strange one is usually the best of the 4 so far for me.
Wow.
It was dark. I liked it. It went really dark. You know, Strange Supreme sucking the souls out of mystical, scary creatures was really cool to see.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
So-
spoilers, bro. Dang. Just kidding.
I thought it was really good. I'm excited for this week's episode, which is confirmed to be Marvel Zombies. So ready for that.
Ruben, how about you? What'd you think of the episode? Did you watch?
Haven't watched it yet. It's such a shame. This weekend has been a bit of a blur.
Yeah,
to
no.
me. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I have no excuse. I also have fell off the What If horse, but I'm hoping to get back on it sometime soon. I guess working hobbies permitted.
It's really cool because there is a moment where the Watcher actually plays a pretty prominent role in this one, as opposed to just watching, his shtick.
Yeah, he's
But,
just watching from the bushes.
It's really good. It's very heart wrenching. Once Tess and I were watching, and once we figured out what the crux of the episode was about, it's like, oh no. But no, it's really good. This is actually one of those where like Benedict Cumberbatch. I know for the last few episodes, apart from, probably Chadwick Boseman and Samuel L. Jackson from last week's episode, Benedict Cumberbatch does really good voice work. It's not.
It was him?
Sebastian's. Yeah, it was him. It wasn't
Awesome.
Sebastian Stan from the first episode, who love you, Sebastian, but you really phoned it in on that one. But no, it is Benedict Cumberbatch. It is pretty much everyone from Doctor Strange. If they were in Doctor Strange, was in this episode.
So
Except Mordo. Mordo is not in this episode.
I thought this episode, just from like seeing the clips that people have been showing off and just seeing the artwork for Doctor Strange, it looked like he was turning into a vampire. And I was like,
it's
oh, shit.
it's really freaking cool.
Okay.
To see his descent, it's really good.
Okay.
So, are you telling me Rachel McAdams is in this episode as well?
She is.
Oh shit! All right, you got me. I'm sold.
Tilda Swinton is in this episode. Benedict Wong is in this episode. So pretty much all the main Doctor Strange players except Mordo are in this episode. They voice their characters. So.
Oh, maybe I'll check it out. Very cool. Thank you, Eric. Moving on, some other news broke this last week. The Russo brothers have come to an impasse with Disney on directing another film entry in the MCU over concerns about pay, essentially, right? With all the Black Widow news stuff, the Russo brothers aren't too keen on directing another movie right now for Disney. You guys have any thoughts on this at all?
Get this fucking Bob out of here, okay? I don't.
Chapek?
Yeah. Get Bob Chapek out of here. Bring back Bob Iger.
Bob Iger is done.
Why is that?
I mean, he's retiring.
I know.
When you're the
but,
CEO of Disney for 15 years, that probably takes a lot of toll on you.
Right, but it's just
I get what you're
transitional
saying, though.
period.
I know what you're saying.
Had Bob Iger still been in here, I'm pretty sure Bob Iger would have been like, "Hey, listen, man, we didn't expect a pandemic happening, so like, here's a cut of what we got from Disney Plus." But this Bob Chapek guy is just.
He's very much a numbers CEO guy. So I mean, that's just what he is.
And that's a terrible way to run this company.
All CEOs are pretty much numbers CEOs.
Right, but I think it.
There was heart from Bob Iger.
Yeah.
I got heart from Bob Iger with like he really cared about
The product?
Disney. He cared about Disney.
I think what it is that if I do remember this correctly, Bob Chapek is from the Parks department, right? Yeah. So like he doesn't give a shit about. I shouldn't say this, but he's more worried about how much money is coming in and not worried about like the people that are killing themselves. Not killing themselves, but like putting in the work.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like when you're the head of parks, you have to deal with so many parks in the world, and there's structure to it. So he's at the top, but you got the managers and stuff, and like the parks are great. Like I have friends who work at Disney World, Disneyland, and they enjoy their time. But it is a business still. Unfortunately, that's the rough end of this. I hope they hold out. I still want Scarlett Johansson to get paid. That's the end of my thing on that. Pay her.
Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, I didn't put this in there, but I'll say it now. Another news item broke this last week that Kevin Feige was supposedly on Scarlett Johansson's side before Disney made the ultimate choice to put Black Widow on Disney Plus. He didn't like the idea of putting a female-led lead behind, not in theaters, just on
Right.
subscription services, which I thought was like pretty cool of him to come out and say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. He was pro theaters only the whole time. During LA, he very much was against the whole dual release thing.
I mean, it's for me, it's one thing to like put. Oh, we're gonna put, since the pandemic, we're gonna put movies out on video on demand, premiere access, or whatever, and we're also gonna put them in theaters. But Black Widow is a movie that should not have been put on Disney Plus. Just because, like you said, it's a female-led movie that's also superhero, that also, like, she should have had this movie like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I understand from Disney's point of view, like Delta variant was starting to run wild during this time. So
Yeah.
obviously you got to consider safety in that regards. You have to think what's going to get you the most money on that. And it did have a very successful opening weekend. It still has the #1 opening weekend of the pandemic so far. But
Not
I think
anymore, right?
well, if you have to look at 3 day. If we're looking at just strictly 3-day weekend, because Shang-Chi
Gotcha.
gets the 4-day, strictly 3-day
Yep.
weekend. Black Widow still has the record at like 6 million. But I think it's just the handling of making her seem like just because she was asking for more money, that she was heartless and using the pandemic as an excuse for not paying your people, which I think is shitty on Disney's part. So, yeah, pay her. It's really easy. You have all this money, Disney. Just pay her.
Absolutely. Our final bit of news today. Another MCU legend passes away today. It's very sad to see come my way this morning. Michael K. Williams, best known for his work on The Wire and Boardwalk Empire. He was also in a scene on The Incredible Hulk, written actually this scene specifically by Edward Norton because he loves this man so much. Has passed away today at the age of 54. Very tragic news.
I
It's
saw
so
that.
sudden. Yeah.
I saw that on my way home, and I was like, "Oh my god, you got to be kidding me!" Did they say what it was?
No, they did not.
So tragic. That guy was so
Yeah.
like the roles that he portrayed doesn't make it look like he's a nice guy, but I seen him in interviews, and that man was a gem.
He rocks. Yeah. The last thing I saw him in was the Battlefield 2042 short that they released on YouTube with the return of Irish, and I was like, dude, this guy rocks. So yeah, very sad.
Very sad.
Moving on to our topic of the show, guys. Are you ready for this discussion? I don't know if you are ready.
Very excited.
It was an
At
alright movie.
last-
I'm
What
just
were we
kidding.
talking about?
Go ahead.
At last, it's our review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Premiered, of course, this past weekend, September 3rd, 2021 in the U.S. A budget of $150 million with a box office so far of $90 million, giving it the highest amount any film has grossed over Labor Day weekend ever, period. Congratulations to that team.
Very good. And worldwide, it almost hit its budget. I think it was 140 million worldwide. So almost making your budget in 3 days. That's
man.
incredible.
True, the figure I pulled, 90 million, was as of, I guess, Sunday night. So Monday morning, like those numbers are coming in. So it's probably more as of right now. So
Could be, yeah.
Good point, Eric. Awesome. Thank you. I want to start with one, as always, our quick little theater experiences for this movie, and then two, an abridged review, if you will, a spoiler-free abridged review from the gang.
Okay.
Ruben.
You can go first.
I was supposed to watch this on Friday, and then I stayed home because my girlfriend had to work on Saturday, so I had to cancel those tickets in fucking prime seats in Dolby, just prime seats in Dolby, and I had to settle for shitty ass seats in IMAX. Well, I shouldn't say shitty
Which
ass
is
seats.
better because the movie was shot in IMAX.
It was better, but the guys behind me were fucking high school kids, which made the whole experience like ugh. Like there was not enough space between the seats as opposed to Dolby seats, you know? Like I
Sure.
could recline all the way back. But yes, it looked phenomenal in IMAX. And man oh man. Oh. What a great movie. What a great movie.
Eric, how about yourself?
So got my row H15, got my seat in IMAX. I always
Yes.
get. Got there. So surprisingly, this was the busiest I have seen a movie theater since the pandemic. Like when I went to go see Black Widow in my theater, there was about maybe for like a prime time 7 o'clock Sunday night showing, about maybe 10 people in the theater. Whereas this one, it was solid, I would say 70 to 80 people in there, which is still, very low in the grand scheme of things, but people are starting to feel more safe. A lot of people were wearing masks, so it was very nice. I
Yeah.
mean, theater did have a mask policy, but still, it's good. There was a baby when we walked in at first, so we were really scared because this baby was all right at the very beginning, and so we were nervous, but she was all right for the movie, so it was all good. But yeah, this is really good. This is a really good movie. It was fun because I was explaining to Tessa and my buddy Paul when we went to go see it. They know nothing about Shang-Chi at all, so I had to kind of explain to them a little bit. All right, this is what he is. They definitely change up his family history because in the comics, his dad is Fu Manchu, which is a very, very racist stereotype
Yes.
character, and so they changed it up to Wenwu, and yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Probably some of the best action in the MCU, like
Yeah.
right up there with Winter Soldier for me.
Yeah.
Is really fucking good. This movie.
All right. Sweet. For me, yeah, I mean, I got tickets a while ago for IMAX here locally, and I wasn't really too excited about it. I think I was getting Marvel burnout, even though like I was like very excited for this movie in particular. Wasn't excited to like I don't know, get out of the house and be amongst people. The theater was packed, by the way, but very cool of Portland. Props to the like the citizens here. Like they mask up pretty much always. So like everyone in their theater seats was like masked up the whole time. So I did feel safe when I was actually in my seat. There was like to Eric's point, there was also a kid in my theater, and I heard him in the beginning, and then like didn't hear him at all the rest of the movie. So I was like, that's nice. And then yeah, dude, was completely blown away. Also, shout out to Ruben as well. I watched the All Hail the King right before it went, and like that was the move. Like that got me excited to go to the theater. Like I went to the shower after, got over there, had like half an edible, and like just got myself ready to watch the movie. And yeah, dude, we're gonna get into it, but like I was surprised at how much I loved it, and I think it was because it didn't feel, for the most part, like a Marvel movie. It just felt like its own independent film that later tied into the MCU. And God, like what a breath of fresh air in the MCU. Like I needed this, and I was so happy that we got it. Also, Simu Liu and Tony Leung,
Oh my god.
love you
Perfection.
for real.
Very good.
So I didn't do any kind of discussion questions for us today. I kind of just want to walk us through the rough plot and then just stop here and there because I think it kind of ramps up and then we like get more into spoilers as we go.
Yeah.
That I think works really well for us. I guess a review spoiler cast. So is that cool with you guys?
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I do have one thing that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
So I'm here on Screen Rant and I see a headline that says Shang-Chi reportedly had a lower budget than most MCU origin movies.
Yeah, crazy, right?
How do we feel about that? Is it because they thought it wasn't going to do good? Is it because
Oh, I mean, I guess they've kind of figured out the technology they need to do stuff, and maybe they have found ways to make it cheaper to make these movies. Helps when you shoot on location, because I know he shot on location for a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So that helps. Um, and
Yeah.
Christian probably has some more on that.
Yeah, the two biggest things I can think of is one, like Eric said, location, because a lot of this is filmed on site, and the other is actors. Like they didn't get, other than I guess Tony Leung and maybe Aquafina, the others aren't like big Hollywood names,
Yeah.
right? Not traditional U.S. domestic Hollywood names, and so that would lower production costs as well because you don't have to pay actors as much. And then of course, like we'll talk about it, the CGI with a lot of the graphics teams in Hollywood trying to unionize and Hollywood not wanting to pay those teams, they outsource to other companies and therefore it's cheaper. Kind of lowers production costs for them. So
Gotcha.
all those
Okay.
kind of things can factor in the
Okay.
lower cost.
All right.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't mention this in my thing. This is definitely the best origin MCU movie for me.
Absolutely.
It's the best one.
High five you.
So
I forgot to say off air. I'll just say it now because it. Eric, when I tweet at you, do I sound mean?
for what?
When I tweeted you last night?
Oh, nah, it's
Okay,
all
good.
good.
I wanted the engagement, and plus, I also know that when a movie makes your top 10 in the MCU, I know that you love all of them pretty much almost equally, but there are a few others that personally you like a bit more than others.
Yeah,
So I just wanted the engagement on Twitter.
yeah. It's I like to do this thing where I don't want to sit too long and think about it, because if I start thinking about it, I'll start overthinking my list. If I just go from like pure gut, this is what I feel. Like there's a lot that this movie does right really well. There's some things that are kind of falter a little bit, but it's definitely still a top 10 MCU movie for me.
Okay. Frank in the chat says Shang-Chi was bomb as fuck, and I gotta agree. Shang-Chi was indeed bomb as fuck.
Yeah.
Let's get into like the starting of the movie. We get the voiceover of Ying Li. We don't know it's Ying Li yet, but it's Ying Li telling us the history of Wenwu, who was fucking Genghis Khan in the MCU. Are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking insane.
So he's Genghis Khan, and then Wenwu's looking for Ta Lo, and somewhere in mainland China, he goes through the bamboo forest, and he meets who? But Ying Li there, and they start fighting Wushu, and it's so fucking cool, and you realize it's like beautiful, and they're falling in love, and
Oh my god.
uh, yeah, and Wenwu is looking at Ying Li, and they're looking at each other, and like you can feel like there's like some kind of tension and passion there, and they do fall in love, and they have a child. What do we think so far of these opening scenes?
The dance, the fighting scene between them, which kind of, yes, was like a dance scene. It just like the looks that he gave her. It's like, yeah, like nobody's ever handled things like handles is the wrong word to use. I guess like nobody's ever treated me this
Yes.
way. Treated me this way. Like I am supposed to be the tough guy that can literally destroy an entire army, and you're wiping the floor with me by doing absolutely nothing but kicking ass. You know, like, oh man, it was so good, so good.
Yeah, this is when I realized the movie is going to be like a special film.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people were saying that they felt that like the Asian representation did for them what they imagined Black Panther did for the Black community. And I'll even go a step further and to say like I saw a lot of, not particularly in the wushu fights, but later on in like with Simu Liu just being himself, I saw some of myself and like my own I guess traits as a minority and what I went through growing up with like my own immigrant parents in this movie that I think like really hit home with me that I'll bring up in a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up now. Get the roots
That's
in there.
important. These are the important things for the movie, because I remember wanting to go see Black Panther. There was like a whole row of just like these tiny black kids, and when T'Challa comes on the screen for the first time, I look down and they're just fucking ecstatic. Like it's like me whenever Spider-Man comes on. I'm 30 years old and Spider-Man comes on screen, I'm still like that. And like these kids got to have that moment for them, and like this is what it's about right here. This is like I'm here just as a fan watching this. This means a lot more than just a comic book movie for a lot of people.
Mm.
And so I got that same vibe here because there was a lot of the Asian community in the movie theater. Like when I went to go see it, like
Yeah.
proportion to everything else, there was a lot. Some so fantastic that, like I said, this representation is happening. So yeah.
Yeah, even further than that, like when the beginning, it's in Mandarin, and a lot of the movie, not a lot of it, but a good chunk of the movie is in Mandarin. I thought that was really cool to see, and not something I would expect necessarily in the MCU. Usually, when you see like other languages, it's always like the bad guys speaking another language. This is just like a touching story, and like at some point, it's Ying Li talking to young Shang, and like it was beautiful, and I almost teared up. Like just to see this kind of representation and heart in this movie was awesome to see on this huge screen. I loved it.
But for me, for the beginning part, I was really excited to see how they were going to talk about the Ten Rings. They didn't talk about it as much as I wanted to. It was just like, oh yeah, they fell from the sky, whatnot. And so it was funny because Tessa during the movie like leaned over, whispered to me, "So is he like immortal or something like that?" I'm like, "Well, in some comics, the Mandarin." And then the very next line was, "Yeah, they give him eternal life." I'm like, there you go. So I thought that was really neat. I appreciated the fight. I did not, even though I know it was a beautiful moment with this fight, and then in the exact same one when Shang-Chi and when we fight at the end, I thought the circle was really beautiful, what it's supposed to mean, but I didn't like that the cameras got really close in their face when that happened. You know what I'm talking about? Like they would cut to her face and then cut to his
What?
face looking at him. I thought the
Why?
moment. I thought the moment was beautiful. I thought if it was just panned out just a little bit, I was just like one that like it didn't take me out of the movie or anything. I just thought the camera shot was weird.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could see that.
I disagree, but I respect it, Eric.
Mhm.
The last thing in this opening scene is that, of course, Ying Li gives a jade pendant to Shang, and that's the last. Well, we get little bits of his backstory piecemeal later. I'm gonna bring it up in one big chunk in just a bit.
Mhm.
The next thing we see is Shang in I guess Sean in present day San Francisco. He's living his life with Katie. They're living their life as valet attendants, and this is where the theme of purpose I think is introduced, and this is where I saw myself. Oh my god! Also, Aquafina. Amen. Right?
Here's the thing.
Oh my god.
I usually can't stand Aquafina. She was phenomenal in this role.
Yes.
Phenomenal. That's 2 movies Aquafina has been fantastic with in for me. The last
the other
one,
one?
the last one she did was I forgot what it was called. Give me 1 second, I'll look
The
it up.
animated movie?
No, she was
Is it The Farewell?
I think it was. Yeah.
Where she goes to China to go visit
Yep.
her grandma?
Yep.
I
That's
love that
exactly
movie.
oh my god, so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
That's my favorite Aquafina role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, this is where what I was saying earlier is where I saw myself as a child of immigrant parents who want me to succeed in life. There's always that constant pressure to have purpose in your life and to do
Oh my
something
God.
important. And whenever I feel like I'm doing something that like I find enjoyment, even if it's just a hobby or that I want to turn into like a career, like something like podcasting or writing, and not always feeling like I'm getting 100% backup from my family. This is where I saw myself in the lens of Aquafina and Shang.
I didn't put that together up until you said that right now, and yeah. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Like just let
Yeah.
me be me, you know? Sorry, continue.
I mean that was it. That was it for this part. And I mean that comes up like quite literally at the bar scene when her friend's like, "Come on, guys, you got to grow up already.
Yeah.
You guys are just wasting your life." So, but this leads us to the first moment I think that kind of blew me the fuck away, which is the bus sequence
I will-
happens like, yeah,
I will
yes,
say, like, I did really like this. This is really refreshing hearing stuff like this from you guys because obviously, I am very white. Obviously, with the pale skin I got
Really?
going on
What
right
gave it
now.
away?
So yeah, I know that my growing up is a lot different from your guys' growing up, and so I'm enjoying hearing how this movie means more to you guys with the stuff it has. Like that's very special. Like it's very important to hear, and I think everyone should hear stuff from different people. That's what makes diversity so great. Um,
exactly.
and so yeah, this is refreshing. Like if I don't talk that much during this, it's because I want to hear what you guys have to say because I think the themes in this movie impact you guys more because like I'm coming into this movie because I'm like I'm so ready to see the Master of Kung Fu right now. I'm so excited for that. But for me, like it was only like skin deep with stuff. I'm like, okay, here we go, we got this. But for you guys, the themes and stuff in this movie, it hit harder for you. So
Yes.
that's why I'm saying, like, if I just let you guys go off on tangents, just know I'm very much enjoying this. And I did love the cut from this when they're talking about at the diner, and then they cut to them walking, and she's got like the fanny pack, and he's got like a class T-shirt on. Like, who's to say we're not adults? Okay, and I'm like, that was a very good shot placement. I very much like that.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot to say like they think about it for a second, like I guess we could go home, be responsible, and they're like, nah, and they go do karaoke.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
amazing. Yeah, but this leads us to our next scene, which is the bus sequence scene, which is the first, I guess, big action set piece of Shang, right? But I think bigger than the Wushu fight in the beginning. We get the cameo from the Spider-Man Homecoming guy, where he's like filming or whatever.
Oh yeah. I didn't
Which I
even
didn't
notice.
know.
I didn't even notice that until you said him.
Do
Yeah,
a flip,
Twitter-
Spider-Man.
Twitter put me onto that. I had no idea. And then we, of course, get the introduction of Razor Fist, who's the guy with the missing arm. Lots to unpack in the bus sequence, but like, dude, are you freaking kidding me? The choreography is fan-fucking-tastic.
I really wanted at the end of the scene for the girl whose laptop he broke, just to be like, "Here's my number," and then it was a fake out because she wants him to pay for the laptop that he fucking took and destroyed. You know?
Are you just trying to write your own joke into the movie?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I love it. I was watching behind-the-scenes videos of Simu, like, because he does like most of his stunts, his
Yeah.
own stunts in this movie. And it was very cool to see him slide from the bus down and then like turn and like hold on to the like handle above.
Mhm.
Like, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Frank in the chat says the choreography and just the way the fight scenes were shot were next level for Marvel. Legit. Yeah. Also,
Fantastic.
Tony Leung, who was in like the Grandmaster as well. I forget who did the choreography for this movie, but he also worked on other martial arts films as well. I can look it up for you, but yeah, you can tell. Like,
Did the Grandmaster stunt coordinator do this movie?
let's find out.
Let's find out. I just realized I haven't been recording. Great.
Are you
What do you
serious?
mean you haven't been recording?
I mean, I haven't been recording
Even live.
video. Sorry, no, I have been recording video. I haven't been recording audio. That's okay. I can just rip it from the video.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, if you guys want to keep talking while I look it up.
So, Eric, what were your favorite parts of this film, or this sequence per se?
Oh, this sequence. I enjoyed how in the beginning, there was a little bit of he was definitely holding back a little bit because he didn't want to come out too much. The choreography with the jacket coming on and off was exceptional.
Phenomenal.
It was exceptional. But I think the best part is when like she's driving and then he does the pose, and then he just goes straight into kicking ass, like not even holding it back, just going at him. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I liked, for me, the part I liked the best was when he gets on top of the bus and then jumps down onto the side of the bus and he's like, open the door. Perfect.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Christian.
please, Eric.
I will say, I do think that the bus guy joke got a little tiring. I think they did it a few too many times. Going back to him, but again, that's just small little gripes. That's not anything major.
He hated this movie, Christian.
I
Can you
hated
believe
this movie.
The stunt coordinator is Brad Allen. I remember that because I saw a TikTok of him. They were like going through some of the stuff that he's done and the training he went under because he himself was trained in martial arts, and then they went through a little bit of his choreography. He also did the Kingsman movies. Very cool.
Oh,
One of the things I loved about this scene so much is that I found this to be like an interpolation of like just normal people to heroes, and it wasn't just Sean who becomes a hero, even though that was like always there. It was Aquafina as well. Like I wasn't expecting her to like rise up to this role. I thought she was going to be there just as comedic relief, but no, like she straight up just quickly gets up and goes to the bus and starts handling that I thought she was going to be like some kind of like driver by the end of the movie, and there are scenes where she's driving a lot, right? But like that for me it was like kind of sealed it for me, like where I was like strapped in from then on. It's like, oh, these people are becoming the best people that they can be just by their circumstances, and I really loved it for that.
Right. And I'm also glad that, there wasn't a romantic relationship, that they were just purely best friends. Like,
I don't know. I don't
well,
know.
I mean, in the beginning, it was just purely best friends, Like, I appreciate that more just because there's always pretty much like almost every movie has to have a romantic part to it in the MCU, I guess. Like, yeah, I think I would say probably all of the Marvel movies so far has had a romantic part to it, and I'm glad that this was in the beginning they're just best friends, like they're ride or dies.
Dude, honestly, this is why I love this movie so much. Is that like, don't get me wrong, I mean, you know me. Civil War is like my favorite MCU movie, and I love our heroes. I love Iron Man. I love Captain America. But for a certain kind of like a certain extent, I was tired of seeing a bunch of white guys be the heroes all the time. This is why I love Falcon and Winter Soldier so much, is that we're getting a different perspective. So to see Simu and Aquafina be the heroes, and they're just being themselves for like a
Yeah,
lot of the part, like they're just like funny people like who were living in California. Like I related to that so much, and I loved seeing like a different side of people who can be heroes in the MCU.
great.
It was such a breath of fresh air for me. That's one of the reasons why. It's like, yeah, it's not like a tropey love interest thing. It's just
Yeah,
people who are friends.
it's
Yeah,
not Rachel McAdams in Doctor Strange.
exactly.
Yeah,
Frank says, I felt like the best friend thing died when they realized that the best thing was purely because they have commitment issues. Yeah, that's fair.
right. But
Simu definitely has commitment issues. Yeah.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he abandoned. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We're then getting. We're going to speed up a little bit here, but essentially the crew have to go to Macau to track down Sean's sister, Ying Li, and we get a little bit of the flashback here of his past. I'm going to recap the past here for you real quick. It's piecemealed a bit through the film, but I'm going to do it all in once. An old rival arrives while Wenwu is away in China. They look to repay a debt that can only be paid in blood. They eventually kill Ying Li, and Wenwu is driven back to a life of villainy, putting on the 10 rings once again. Wenwu immediately starts Shang's training to become an assassin for the 10 rings, while his sister, Xialing, trains on her own, watching them and training at night by herself, which is fucking rad.
Oh my god.
And at the age of 14, Shang is tasked with killing the man who killed his mother. He says he doesn't do it at the beginning. Later, he admits to actually killing him, and then eventually runs away to the man we come to know in San Francisco. Ooh.
So I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this is like the death of his mother is primarily like the Mandarin's fault. Am I wrong? In
Who?
this, the death of Shang's mother is the Mandarin is responsible for the death of Shang's mother.
Yeah, through his
through his actions.
Yeah,
past
so
actions,
like
right.
if that
Indirectly.
Yes.
yeah. I just feel like if he was the man that he was touted to be, like the commander of this hidden army, if you're gonna, do stuff, make sure you get rid of the evidence and also kill the guy,
This is why I think this movie is so cool, and there's two things here. One is that this action, like, for all intents and purposes, Wenwu put the life of villainy behind him. He chose to settle down and live a life like of love and put the past to rest, I guess, essentially. So like his return to villainy comes from a place of love. It's like a love crime, essentially, right?
right?
Which is very different for the MCU. It's not something we normally see. I akin that to like how cool Killmonger was, right? Like that comes from a place of like hate and wanting to get back at family who like he felt abandoned. This comes out like a revenge for out of love. But also, what's really cool is that we're getting a flawed protagonist. That our hero has a dark past, which we see a little bit here and there. It's definitely not like Captain America, and it's closer to like an Iron Man. But I just love that Shang admits to essentially being like a person who's done some bad stuff in his life and didn't have a perfect childhood. I thought that was really cool to see.
Right.
Mhm.
Anything else here before we move on?
No.
I thought I don't know. Did you guys like that it was the past stuff was sprinkled through everything, or would you have preferred it to be all at once?
Good
Eh,
question.
for me, I like that it was sprinkled in
Okay.
because
I would, because why?
no, it made me believe him. Like when he first lied and said that he didn't kill the guy, like I believed him up until I saw the interaction with his sister and like him telling her like mom's gone, like I have to do this because if not, like I'm gonna be in deep shit. So I'll be back in 3 days, and then he just never comes back.
Yeah, I would answer that as well. That's the only reason why I think it worked is that we get like that switch at the end. Like you realize, oh, he actually did lie to us, and like he did kill him. Other than that, like you're right, Eric. I don't know if this is what you're kind of implying is that it kind of interrupts the pace every now and then, and it feels like we're watching the same thing a few times, where it kind of takes me out of the movie a little bit. It's like hard to kind of track in my head where we are in the past. Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, kind of in a sense because we have these moments that are going on in the present time, and I think we hit a good beat, and then it just goes right back to the past. But I understand for story purposes, like Ruben's right,
Mhm.
it made it much more believable at the end. Like I did kill that guy, where it's everything else are sprinkled into it. Like no, he didn't do it. So
We
uh,
do get that great joke on the plane though when he's trying to tell the story to Katie, and the flight attendant interrupts with trying
Great.
to, yeah.
it's very good.
And you also get the joke. It's like a minute long joke of Shang explaining how to say his name, which is pretty much like just for the audience being like, "Yo, say the fucking name of the movie, right?"
Shang-Chi.
Uh,
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. Yeah. And then Katie is like, "You changed your name from Sean to Shang. No wonder your dad found you so easily."
Yeah.
Amazing. But this puts us at, I think, my favorite sequence of the movie in general. Everything in Macau fucking ruled. Macau was awesome. We get the Wong and Abomination fight at the beginning, which is some kind of training for Abomination. Ruben?
I was so confused. At first I was like, that can't be Abomination because he's got the fucking fish gills for ears. I didn't see that in
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible
This is
Hulk.
more comic accurate.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He's
Okay.
growing. He's kind of evolving in a
Okay.
sense.
Uh,
I did like the fact that Wong called him a meal. I thought that was an interesting touch
Hmm.
because he didn't call him Abomination. He called him by his actual name. I
Yeah,
thought that was interesting.
I didn't
Um,
catch that. That's awesome.
yeah, and then like I guess that was like a kind of a cage that they went through the portal into.
yeah,
So
he's going back to
maybe
prison.
okay,
What it looked like to me.
maybe it's training you.
But it does feel like some kind of training or trying to teach him how to control himself a little bit, right?
Or
Mhm.
maybe
Maybe?
it's setting stuff up for She-Hulk.
Maybe.
Holy shit.
Oh,
I didn't even put that together. That's awesome.
yeah.
I like that they're also back in the locker room after the whole fight. Like, hey, knock it off. No, we did this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
that's
were
fun.
supposed to pull your punches.
You
Did
you
you,
get yes.
did you guys see the extremis person?
I did not.
No.
So if you look like not in the main fight, but when like all the people fighting in the glass rooms, there's one of the people who has
Oh
extremis in
yeah.
him.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Also,
I thought that was neat.
Frank says, Ruben with the 300 IQ idea. Yeah, man, that's right.
All
That's
he
where I'm
has is
always at.
300 Q ideas.
That's all. That's all I am. I'm always there
That's it.
when it
We
comes to
get
Marvel.
we get that fight. We get the fight. It's like introduced that, oh my God, Shang has a sister and she owns the fucking underground fight ring, and and Shang has to fight her. We get that fight. More like inclusions of like the close-ups that was introduced with the original fight with Tony Leung. We get a little bit of that with like the brother and sister seeing each other again for the first time, which I thought was a cool callback. And then we get the epic fight which I think is my favorite fight of any Marvel movie, is the fight outside on the scaffold,
Oh
and
my
then
God,
back
it's so
inside.
good.
I thought it was very good.
Dude, the theater, like I had like almost an out of body experience where like everyone was just like mouth open, just watching the scene, like, oh my fucking God. And then the death dealer comes in, the guy with the mask. What? I don't know. I literally have no words for this scene. It was like legit fucking badass.
Very, very good. Yeah, I definitely think it's like right up there with the highway scene for me and the elevator
Oh my
scene.
God.
It was really good. I know you have something on Death Dealer. I thought Death Dealer was very underutilized in this movie.
Oh,
I agree.
Like,
kind of like
like you
Taskmaster.
put this in the marketing. I'm like, oh, this person looks tough. Oh man, and like they're in, a few training things. They're in mainly one fight, and then they get, there you go.
Dude,
So I thought it definitely underused.
I want to answer that now. Yes, 1,000%. Why the decision that they wanted to make Death Dealer the person who died instead of Razor Fist fucking will continue to escape any sort of answer for me. Why?
Because
It's weird how like they're doing in Disneyland they have Death Dealer fighting Shang out in the Avengers land. I'm like, you by the movie you should go with Razor Fist because he was in the movie more.
yeah, but you can't really
Oh.
have a knife out in the open like that, you know.
But no, yeah,
Safety
the
reasons.
fight was really freaking cool, especially with like the neon in the back. I
Yeah.
thought it was exceptional.
And you just see the
Um,
fucking cat in the background. Perfect.
I thought it was really good fight.
So Frank says something in the comments that I want to bring up here because I have an answer to this. He says the fights in this movie made Daredevil look like an indie film. They were so good. One, yes, I agree, and also like Daredevil is so cool.
I don't
Ruben,
know
go ahead.
about that. Like the fight scenes in
Dude.
Daredevil are phenomenal. Like just I would say this is probably a step up, but I don't know about making it look like an indie film.
Okay, we're at least we're agreeing there. That's a step up.
Yeah, it's a step up.
Very cool. Yeah.
I think that. Oh, go ahead, Christian.
In another universe, there's like a third act of this movie where they're not in Talo, they're on the compound, and Shang is fighting everyone in a hallway style one-shot take like Daredevil, fighting through the compound, trying to get to Wenwu, and he's fighting Death Dealers, like the person at the end of the
Oh
hallway.
my God.
Could you
yes.
fucking imagine?
Yes.
So I think that this is definitely like much more choreographed, so like it looks much more smooth. Whereas I think with like the Daredevil, I'm like, I'm coming to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Mm.
have like obviously I'm trained a little bit, but I'm gonna beat you with these sticks. Whereas there is grace, there is style with how Shang fought, and so the indie film I don't know, but I really like the fighting in this movie is exceptional, really exceptional.
Okay, I want to ask you guys something because we're gonna step away from like plot necessarily and just kind of move into more general discussion
Mhm.
because I think instead of breaking down the third act, I think it's more of a I guess like a better discussion just to be talking about it generally. How did you guys feel about the switch to like moving from grounded into? Well, we shouldn't even talk about that first. We have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Trevor's slattery.
Oh my God.
He's fucking back.
Of course he is.
What do we think about
There
him?
was a cheer.
I really thought, yeah, there was also a cheer in my theater. I really thought, like I had said before, that this was going to open up and it was going to be all hail the king at the end, and like that would have been perfect. And then he goes, "Yeah, they were going to kill me," and then I just started acting, and I was just like, "Fucking yes, let's do it." And then he gives us that whole introduction of what made him want to start acting. And it's fucking Planet of the Apes. And it's
Dude.
just...
That's a fucking hilarious joke.
Planet of the Apes. Go ahead.
No, I don't think like he was fantastic in that one scene where he's in like the dungeon or whatever, I guess, like in captivity.
Yeah.
I wish that was as much of him we got. By the time like they were in the car, I was kind of tired of him already. But then we get that Planet of the Apes joke, and it's like, all right, you got me back, I guess.
And then at the end where he's playing dead, and he just tells
Fuck, that was funny too.
that was also funny. Come on.
Yeah, all right, you got me. Yeah, but I wanted to ask what you guys thought about the third act, because normally I think Marvel doesn't always nail the third act. We've talked about this on numerous of our reviews. And I guess I want to say before, like, just to kick off conversation, is that I felt like they were falling into the pitfalls of the third act with like a world-ending thing, and we've got to like fight together, and it's like we're fighting CGI things, and I was like, this isn't exactly what I wanted. And then they doubled down on the like mysticism of like Chinese mythology
Yeah.
and went like full like what many people are calling anime, and I was like, you know what? I am all in now. Like you have subverted all expectations for third act that I thought were going to be an MCU movie, and now you've got this dragon in front of me, and I want more of Shang and this fucking dragon. I thought was really fucking cool and ended up working for me. What did you guys think?
Eric, go ahead.
So I thought it was really cool. I actually looked it up. Like the weird pig cat thing is an actual creature from Chinese mythology. I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
Most of the creatures there were like the nine tails looking thing.
Yes.
And the weird looking horse. But I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really neat. I thought it was really, really pretty. It was gorgeous. Like the dragon shots were beautiful. I I would have liked it to have been, Shang versus Wenwu at the end, but I thought having this plot device of like, the otherworldly creature coming in gave Wenwu that moment
Yes.
where he like that moment he has at the end. Like I thought that was really nice. It literally was a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
And so I was about it's not my favorite third act in a Marvel movie, but like it was still solid than most.
This is why I think that camera in the beginning was so awesome, is that they literally brought it back at the end with Tony Leung looking at Shang with the same affection that
Yeah.
he had in his eyes when he was seeing Ying Li. And like that moment, without having to say anything, just having the same shot that they had in the beginning, but with a now older Tony Leung, and then just seeing his hands go from this way to this way, like an open palm, and just his rings start flowing out of him, was so powerful for me. I loved it. And like I started getting like a little bit emotional.
Yeah. Same here. For me, it was good to see like, oh shit, like Tony Long realizing like he was wrong, and then trying to amend for, I guess, trying to amend like the wrongs that he made with his family and giving Shang the 10 rings, and just accepting his fate for this monster or whatever it was. I thought that was really, really, really heartfelt. I think the only problem I had with the ending of this movie was the post-credit scene.
What?
Yes, that was the only problem I had.
We'll
But
get to it.
we'll get to it. Yes.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, but okay. I'm very okay. There's a lot of stuff here that I mean we kind of glossed over. I thought it was really cool that he starts learning wushu with from his aunt, and starts picking it up, and like she makes note like, oh, you like remind me of your mom. I thought that was like very sweet. But I mean,
by the way, still,
yes,
ooh, ooh.
yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What? I didn't hear what you said. What?
Said Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm.
I love that there's videos of like her kicking Jackie Chan's ass like now. Like people are like talking about it on Twitter. It's very cool to see.
Wow.
And then yeah, I mean the big moment for me that like I realized that the third act was like building up to like something awesome, truly awesome, was when the Great Protector and Shang are working together to kill the. I had to write the name down of this villain because I didn't even know what it was. Dweller in Darkness.
Yeah, not a very well thought name. It's an actual villain. Very Cthulhu like monster. It deals with Doctor Strange a lot, but works with this.
That scene where he's falling and he jumps off the dragon and is falling in midair and shoots the 10 rings to create like that circle. into that chest of the Dweller in Darkness, and he's like doing the wushu movements in midair. You can see
Yeah.
the water behind him flowing, and it's going slow mo, and then it fucking goes out, and you can see the scale of how small he is compared to how much he's falling, and it does the slow mo of him like finishing it. Fucking incredible.
And you
There's a
see
lot of
his-
beautiful shots in this
You
movie.
see his mom's shadow in the circle that he made.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I saw. I could be completely wrong. Like her doing the movements with him, and I was just like,
Oh.
holy shit.
Well, when I go rewatch it, I will look for that.
I'm gonna rewatch this week.
Well, so are you planning on rewatching it?
Yeah.
If I can get time to go rewatch it, I definitely will. If not, it's gonna be on Disney Plus in like next month. so.
45 days, I think, right?
Yeah, 45 days.
But here's, I know I said this in the group. This movie takes a lot from Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Here we go.
I'm telling you, man. Here you go. You got super powerful guy, Wenwu Uldren okay? They have lost a significant person in their lives. Marasov
Cade.
and Ying
Oh.
Li. Yeah. So they go on a ravenous path of destruction because they start hearing the voices from this evil entity that they don't know it's the evil entity. They think it's the person talking to them, Marasov Ying Li. He gets to the moment and realizes, oh, hey, all I gotta do is go to this thing and fuck this up. They'll be back. And then it's like, nope. This otherworldly dragon-like creature is behind the whole thing. Yeah. Telling you, man.
I believe you.
What
I don't
it
know what
is.
you want from me, but I believe you.
It's what it is. It's what it is.
I love that, Eric. Yeah, so Shang defeats the Dweller in Darkness, and we're back in San Francisco. I love that they're back in the bar.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously the people don't believe them because, like, why the fuck would you believe them? And then when the fucking portal starts opening up, I lost my goddamn mind.
So, did you expect Wong? Because I thought Stephen Strange was going to be like,
I absolutely was like, holy shit, is Shang gonna be in the Multiverse of Madness?
bro, could you imagine?
Yeah, I don't know, but like, it's even if it was just Wong, I was very happy with him. 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
I was still
Wong
very
rocks.
happy. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then it ends there, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's where the credits roll. We get that cool
Yep.
Anderson .Paak song in the initial credits, and then we get to the post-credit scene where Wong is analyzing the rings with Bruce and Captain Marvel. And they say it's super old. How old, they don't know. And this is where Ruben has a theory.
So, Wong says these rings are super old. Maybe eternally old? Maybe galactically old? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. That could just be a sprinkle for like a future fucking Phase 17 movie. We'll never know.
This is where I need to call in Eric. Does he know?
Again, yes, I want to clarify. Like, I know shit about Shang-Chi. So, Eric.
Well, so obviously with this, they took a lot of stuff and pulled a bunch of different things from this. So it could be an Eternal setup. It could be. It could be like, hey, we created this. This is, so what, 10,000 years old or something like that? Thousands of years old. So the Eternals could, like, when I saw all the stuff he was doing in the rings, it kind of looked like the Eternal stuff that they were doing
Yeah.
in like the trailer and stuff. That would make the most sense. Because it's not going to be Kree, because we've already dealt with Kree. Like, Kree's, okay, the Kree. The Skrull, we've already been dealing with the Skrull. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, hold on. Wait a
He's got an
minute.
idea.
It could be Skrull with Secret Invasion. That
Maybe-
beacon could be
Holy
to the Skrull
shit.
to come to Earth. Like, it's ready now. Huh.
That I didn't even think about either.
Because we got Secret Invasion coming next year. That could be that. So it's either like that would make sense, saying the Earth is ready. The
Now-
person that rings are new. I will also say, I forgot to say, I was in the middle of like the Dweller in Darkness fight when Shang was doing all the wushu moves. I was looking at my buddy. I'm like, get Shang a starting position on the Avengers right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Gives
why
us-
that post-credit scene was so exciting for me.
I also want to add the reason why I said galactic just was for the beacon. Like the beacon is the only thing
could
that
be.
could make sense for me. And also
It could
those
be.
rings are fucking huge. So could fit on his fingers.
Galactus is going to have
Galactus
bigger
is
hands
way
than
bigger
that.
though.
You
Yeah.
never know. You never know. They could be toe rings.
But I did like.
Toes are bigger than fingers, man.
I did like that, Bruce and Carol were there. It's like, hey, look, like you're in the fold now, man. Like whether you want this or not, you're. I thought he was gonna say you're an Avenger at the end, but it's like
Yeah. Oh my God.
you're a team member now. You're part of this world. You're nothing's gonna be the same from now on. So I thought that was neat.
I did see people, like asking, well, why wasn't Bruce Professor Hulk? Like,
That is also interesting.
is
Like,
it though?
Yes, he's no longer something happened.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer Hulk, Professor Hulk, or anything like that.
I just assumed that this was a form that he could, go in and go out. Like, why would he need to be Professor Hulk all the time?
I'm just saying, like, if he could have done it in and out and not be Professor Hulk all the time,
Well-
he should have done it when they were testing out the time travel stuff.
Right, but in this, I feel like he needs to recover, and it's probably easier for him to recover from the arm as a human. Like people can actually penetrate his skin.
At the end of Endgame, when he sent Steve back, was he in Hulk form?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
So
Okay.
That's an interesting thread right there. So, be interesting to see how that goes.
Let's put a pin in that thread.
Yeah, but the line that Bruce says that like I wrote down was welcome to the circus. And I thought that was like I'm on par for like what the character of Bruce is, but like fuck. This fucking dude is an Avenger. And
Yeah.
also Aquafina too.
Yeah, Aquafina is also an Avenger.
At least Avengers adjacent.
Holy shit.
And then we get what?
No, continue. This is gaming news. Don't worry about it.
And then we get the second post-credit scene with Xia Ling, now the head of the Ten Rings, on the compound, and she is training both men and women together in her own style and aesthetic. And people on Twitter are talking, saying like, "Whoa, I think we know who the power broker is talking to at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier. Probably Xia Ling."
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
And I found that interesting.
We also forgot
interesting.
about Wong singing Hotel California.
Oh
That's
my god,
right.
yes! At the end of post-credit scene one, yeah, they go back to the fucking karaoke.
Oh man.
I love it, dude.
So I had problems with this end credit scene.
Oh,
just
yes. Go ahead.
because I find this to be so tropish. Like she becomes the main villain. Like not the main villain, well, the next villain possibly. Like we knew that
Is she a villain though?
one would assume because she's sitting on the throne of the Ten Rings. Like I took it as she's taking over the command of the Ten Rings, and she's gonna be using this army to I don't know if it's evil stuff, but do stuff.
You know what they say about assuming things.
I make an ass out of myself.
That's a lot of letters and assume right there.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay, I like the way you read it.
yeah. I just thought that she was gonna go like she had a fighting. What was it? A fighting competition for like
She had a club.
an essential fight club. So I just assumed like she was gonna be, become a villain.
Well, she did have that line that said, like, if I can't have his empire, I'm going to make my own.
Yep.
And she's
Yeah.
literally taking his empire now. So I think it was also there, like, hey, the Ten Rings are still a very prominent role in this, and this gives more stuff for Shang-Chi later.
It reminded me of the whole Luke Cage show, where Luke Cage was tired of the crime happening in Harlem, and at the end of the show, he basically becomes the king of Harlem.
Mm.
Anyway, that's all I had.
Oh, Luke. Yeah, I was confused. Oh my god, I was thinking someone else from Mortal Kombat for some reason. I was like, why are you thinking Mortal Kombat?
Oh, no.
Luke Cage. Okay, now
Speaking of
I'm with
Mortal
you. Now.
Kombat, I
Yeah.
did enjoy her use of the rope knife. I thought
Oh
that
my
was very
God.
cool.
Fuck yeah.
I just kept going, get over here.
Fantastic.
But no,
So
really
I might
good.
say it was better than
Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
Mortal Kombat.
absolutely.
This movie, yes, this movie is definitely way
No,
better
no,
than
no.
Mortal Kombat.
No, the way that she used it was better.
I don't know. One of them can bring hellfire from the nether realm.
And one of them is
Ruben.
literally killing monsters with a dragon powers.
Dragon
Scorpion
scale
is
on
a
it.
monster.
Dragon scales on it. So we'll see.
To Ruben's point, I don't. That's interesting. I liked. I'm thinking about it now because I totally thought of Zhao Ling no more than a bad guy than like Yelena. Like she's just like morally ambiguous, not good or bad, just like playing in that gray area.
Right, but I guess for me, I assumed like, my dad never let me train with the boys, so let me prove to him that we can be better. I guess, or I could, men and women can fight equally together and be a strong force. I don't know.
We shall see, I guess.
I guess,
And
yeah.
Maybe in that show
What show?
and or movie. I don't know.
Okay,
Whatever show they're building up to.
gotcha. Okay.
There's no Stan Lee cameo, so we
Unfortunately.
unfortunately cannot rank that. I'm sorry, Ruben.
It's unfortunate.
Ruben, you got anything more you want to say before we go?
No, that's it. Also, I do have one more thing. Thank you for Eric. But like, you're talking about who was it that got the shaft in this movie?
Oh,
the
Death Dealer.
Death Dealer?
Death Dealer. Nobody knows who the fuck Death Dealer is in the comics. People know who Taskmaster is. Okay.
No, dude. What I'm saying is, Death Dealer was very much heavily used in the marketing of this movie.
Yeah.
And then,
And
like,
so is
they
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster was actually really cool and actually had purpose in the movie. Dude,
okay.
you literally
Okay.
did not
All right,
hear when I
right,
was
okay.
talking about the importance of Taskmaster
Okay.
on our Black Widow episode.
Didn't I? Didn't I?
You didn't.
Also,
Didn't
like,
I?
we're not considering Death Dealer as a villain, are we?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Like,
There
it's-
is
Oh,
there is one villain in this movie.
sorry. Hold on.
So
and that's when freaking Woo.
So, look, everyone, it is now time to rank the villains. But I think it's really special in this one because I never saw Wenwu as a villain. I
I
saw
love it.
him as a dad who really just wanted his family back together. Now, granted, that's what the crux of this movie was. Like, obviously, you have these powers, the mysticism, but at the crux of it, he just wanted his family back together. That's because that was his purpose. You know, for all these years going alone at it, he wanted all this power, but, he got the thing that made him feel whole the most, which was a family.
I see
And
your
so
point.
he just wanted that back.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really important. And may I just say, Tony Leung, his performance was exceptional. It is very hard to believe that this is his first Hollywood movie because he should be in everything. The man was really good at just playing this character. Because I can't believe we haven't talked about him yet. Like, we've gone this whole discussion, we haven't really talked about how great he was. So I think we're just
I was
gonna.
supposed to, and I forgot.
I think we can even though pause the ranking right now because I would love to talk about this character for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really good. I especially liked the conversation they had when he's like, "Yeah, this is like names are important. Like, look at this one person who tried to use my name. It was a freaking fruit. It was a piece of fruit. That's all it was."
Orange people are America scared of an orange.
Yeah.
That same conversation though, he asked Katie what her Chinese name is, which I thought was like really cool because, I mean, I grew up with some Asian friends and they had to do the same thing. They had to have their Asian name at home and then their American name like at school or like even now like at work that happens. So I thought that was like a very cool thing to introduce here in the MCU as well. And then like some of my family members as well, like they have their Mexican name and then they have their American name, which is just an easier way, or even sometimes a different name for Americans to say their name because they can't say or won't say their Mexican name. And like, what a powerful like way to sneak in like the theme of identity just in this one conversation at dinner. Very cool.
Phenomenal.
Because I will say the best scene he has is when right before he jumps over and tries to knock down the door when Shang tries to say, "I'm not afraid of you," and he's like, "Yes, you are." Yeah, you are. You did all of these things. You did every single thing I'm listing right now. So yeah, you were definitely afraid of me. And then when Chunk says, "What makes you think she would want you anymore?" and just that
Yeah.
look on his face, like, "What the fuck did you just say? I'm doing all this for your mom, and you're going to talk to me like that?" And then like it, man, it gets into this thing right now, because I have these moments like coming up. I'm about to be a dad, so everyone says like your life is put on hold, like your life is done. It's about your kids going forward. And I thought this movie was really important to show that even though like he's a parent, he's his own person, okay, and you know his moment where he's like, "What the fuck am I doing? I still have to go through with this because I want the love of my life back." He wasn't thinking about it. He literally punched his kid into the water like that. There was no talking with him at that moment. And yeah, he was so freaking good. Um,
Like I said, man, blinded by a lust for revenge. Like it's a love crime.
mhm.
If it's one of the most passionate crimes there is. It's like so powerful to see on screen. I loved it. It's so different for Marvel.
It was really, really, really good. So Ruben, do you have anything on this guy before we
I
rank him?
mean, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, you can say that for like the most part of this movie, but let's not forget, like, he was literally a war, uh, not criminal, but like he killed thousands of people before the beginning of this movie.
Yes, but it's the yes, but
Yeah, no,
that he
no, no.
meets someone that like makes him
I
change.
understand. I understand. I just want to make it clear, like, this man is definitely a villain.
I did. I also really much like that conversation he had with young Shang, where he's like, "I thought she said I could change. Like she said I could be this different person, and then once she's taken away, he's like, nope, you're all about to get fucked." So,
I thought I could be a better
um,
person, but then,
yep.
yeah.
I mean,
I
there's also
also
that scene
liked
in
it
the
when,
restaurant too. Sorry.
yeah. Oh man, oh so good. He was making Shang watch the whole thing. Oh, it was so great.
Dude, the camera, it's just the young Shang,
Yeah.
and you see his actions in the
The mirror.
reflection of
Yeah. Oh my
the
God.
tiles. Yeah, awesome.
So good.
I also enjoyed the toward the end where it's like, we needed you when she left, and you chose those damn rings over us. I thought that was really good. But let's rank the villains of the
Fuck, man.
MCU.
That was a good movie.
So, it's been a bit, so you guys did a good job last week in my absence. Um, let's go through the ranking right now. Number 11, Malekith slash Curse from Thor the Dark World. Number 10, Abomination slash Thunderbolt Ross from The Incredible Hulk. Number 9, Whiplash slash Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. Number 8, Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3. Number 7, Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 6, Obadiah Stane from Iron Man.
Oh.
5, Red Skull from Captain America the First Avenger. Number 4, Taskmaster slash Dracov from Black Widow. Number 3, Loki from Thor. Number 2, Loki from Avengers. And number 1, the Winter Soldier from Captain America the Winter Soldier. So I will start.
No,
Of
before you
these,
start, wait, before you
Yeah,
start,
Ruben.
I need you to go back to number 5. You missed something. Sorry, number
Red
6. Number 6.
Obadiah Stane from Iron Man. Oh, sorry, Tony.
There you go. There we go.
Obadiah
That's what you
Stane
wanted?
Yeah, that's what
from
I
Iron Man.
wanted.
So,
Wow.
I will say that of this list, he's number 1 for me right now.
Yeah.
His
Awesome.
performance was exceptional. I will say, like, in the overall grand scheme of the MCU, he's not my favorite villain, but he gives one of the best performances of this whole entire fucking franchise. It was really fucking good. Sometimes he felt like the star of the movie.
I'm going to say this right
Oh,
now.
he was.
He's my favorite villain of the MCU.
Wow.
He was
Like,
really good.
he was scary. He was, convincing. When he was talking to Shang when he was little, like, yeah, perfect. He was perfect in every way.
He was
He's
really
in my
good.
Tony
he's in
Leung.
my top 3. I was scared. I was gonna say, I'm happy. I'd be happy with anything above 4. But my vote is also number 1.
Oh yeah.
Look at us, huh? Agreeing. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, exceptional villain.
I appreciate that
Ru-
you didn't call
Ru-
him the Mandarin.
yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
I know. That's why I appreciate it.
So I thought it was really good. So
That puts us at the Marvel movies ranking so far. Let's recap the list. Number 11, The Incredible Hulk. Number 10, Thor: The Dark World. Get used to those two down there, am I right, guys?
Mhm.
Number 9, Thor. Number 8, Iron Man 2. Number 7, Iron Man. Number 6, Iron Man 3. Number 5, Black Widow. Number 4, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 3, The Avengers. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 1, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, let me preface this. I know I gave Eric shit on Twitter for the content and for the engagement. Personally, I'm happy again with anything above at least number 4. I mean, if it's even above number 3, even better. My vote, honestly, and this is hard for me to like actually come to terms with. This is number 1.
okay.
Eric?
For me, like I know I put my personal list out there of these movies right now. It's number 4 for me, because I mean we last episode's on talked about how much Winter Soldier is just exceptional. Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't here last week, so no one could hear my thoughts on it.
It
It's
likes it.
probably other than the Avengers. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's in my top 10 easily. The movie is fantastic. Exceptional characters all around, much better than their versions in Guardians 2, but that's for another day. And the Avengers, the strength of that movie, I know we talked about it, the fact that they actually could pull it off, I think goes a lot into saying how good that movie is. Josh Whedon aside, the writing is really good in that movie. Still, like it's exceptional for these characters, like putting them all in this one little room like this, especially. So for me, like it's 4, but it's a very, very, very damn good 4. Ruben,
I'm so
are we?
scared. I'm terrified.
For me, oh man. This movie is easily number 2 for me. I think it's way better than Guardians. It's difficult to rank Guardians as an origin movie just because they have a lot of characters that they need to introduce. But oh man, like I said, God damn it, Wenwu, a phenomenal protagonist. No, sorry, antagonist.
Some would say he is the protagonist,
No, well, depends on how you look at it.
and
Sure,
and Shang
sure.
is just in his way.
Shang is definitely such a like at first you feel bad for him, but like no, at first you kind of feel bad for. Yeah, I would say you feel bad for him throughout this movie just because like he was raised to become a killer, and it was technically, like I said before, it was his father's fault that his mother died. So I yeah, this is number 2.
Okay. Let me just add to this real quick before we even start like voting, I guess. Aside from like the issues I have with the third act, like obviously movies aren't perfect. But let's not kid ourselves. The first 2/3 of this movie, like at least first half, are near fucking perfect. And then for me, subjectively, like when you introduce the idea of Tony Leung doing all of this because of his like deceased wife, who he thinks is alive, adds so much to like who he is as a villain that when I compare it to who the Winter Soldier is, like yeah, I love Bucky and like his like tormented past and trying to find himself, but there's something like more personable about Tony Leung like being a villain because of love that I found just way more engaging and enthralling on screen. And then lastly, what makes it, and this is totally subjective by the way too, why I think this movie is above Winter Soldier for me is that all the themes of purpose, and this like the representation of my like just minorities in general and the way it feels just so dramatically different from anything we've seen in the MCU so far. Like when I see Winter Soldier, I'm like, yes, that is like an S tier Marvel movie. But Shang-Chi, still S tier. but I wouldn't even go as far as to even call it a Marvel movie. This
It's
is just like
an
a
S tier
film for me.
movie.
Period. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is why.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with whatever we pick.
I do want to preface the reason why I have it as number 2 is I think Captain America: The Winter Soldier like has some fucking scenes in it that are just phenomenal. You have the scene where he realizes it's Bucky, and like the whole it's kind of like how you guys like the Loki Thor relationship. This relationship between Bucky and Cap is like they're fucking bros to the end, you know? Like they are gonna do whatever it takes to be not together, but like on their side, you know? Like if something's wrong, they're gonna fix it together. So Captain America had great fighting sequences. Yes, this movie is like Shang-Chi is like definitely a kung fu movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take away from that at all. But like the fighting sequences with Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the elevator scene where he's kicking all these asses in a fucking elevator. The scene where he is fighting Bucky in the street, like come on, like there's oh my god. And again, I'm not taking away from anything from this movie. Like definitely Tony Leung, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I just feel like the relationship between Bucky and Cap is just
Sure.
it means more for me.
That's like some of the best like character relationships in Marvel, like period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. How are we gonna
Right.
do this? How are we gonna
Right.
do this?
So this is interesting.
Look, I'm happy
So-
with at least two.
So
Number two.
we have a first place vote, a second place vote, and a fourth place vote. Well, not vote, but that's where we initially have our standings. Okay, so y'all can talk and stuff. I didn't think I'm gonna ask this.
Christian.
Yeah. No, look, I'm happy. Sure.
Yeah.
For this list, I'm happy to at
Let's
least
stick with
place it
two.
number
Let's
two.
stick with two.
I'm happy to do that, but I wanna have Eric just give some more words, like,
What
because I
is
don't
he
want to
gonna
totally
say?
throw
What is
his
he-
opinion out
what
of it.
is
You know
he
what I mean?
gonna
Like,
say?
No, it's totally fine. I think it's just for me personally. And that's what I talked about earlier. So, I grew up with like these Avengers characters, so like seeing them on the screen is like it's a huge deal for me. And like, seeing Hulk, Thor, all these guys fight together. And that's what I talked about earlier. Like you guys, this movie hits you a lot harder for like personal reasons, with your themes of identity, family and stuff. And so, I mean, it's not like we're doing a peace treaty for countries right now. It's just a list. Like I'm totally fine if this is number 2. Like I'm okay with that. I personally don't think it's better than Guardians because Guardians, so fucking funny. So funny. And like you take these like I still quote Guardians to this day sometimes, and
Yeah, but is it funnier than Planet of the Apes? Is what made me into acting because
yeah, like that's a fantastic
Yes.
joke. That's a really fantastic joke. I thought it was really good, but I think just having the lovable misfits and like bringing them together as a team, and everything in that movie just hits so well. And of course, Avengers. We talked about Avengers so much already. Like I don't need to go into more discussion. That's just personal preference for me. So it doesn't really matter.
By the way, Eric,
Hmm.
are you happy that on this rewatch that I liked Guardians? Like legit, I actually really like. I
Yeah,
think it's like one of the best written Marvel movies.
It's exceptional because I know Tessa watched Guardians 2 a lot. When it was like on Netflix and stuff. Like that was one of her most watched Marvel movies was Guardians 2. And we rewatched Guardians 1 and she said, I haven't seen this movie since theaters. I'm like, well, this is a really good movie. She's like, oh my God, this is really good. I'm like, yeah, because we're going to have a Guardians 2 episode, but I think what was so great about that is like every character matter, where in Guardians 2, it was mainly about Peter Quill. Like we can try to say the Gamora stuff and there was important and Rocket and
you're-
Groot and all them were
you're right.
important, but
Yeah, you're right.
it's a Peter Quill story.
It's a Peter movie. Yeah.
Whereas in the first one, like each person is having to deal with something. No,
Right.
Rocket's having to deal with his past. Drax is still dealing with the fact that the man who killed everyone who killed his wife and family are still out there. Gamora's like, who am I? Am I Thanos' assassin or am I a person? And Peter Quill just being, a jackass. But
He's no T'Challa.
Yeah, that's true.
ah,
Oh,
man.
are we gonna do it?
Speaking of T'Challa, let me get this in. I was sick and tired of all the people. Like I saw so many articles saying that, like trying to put Black Panther and Shang-Chi versus each other. Like, oh, which one is better in terms of putting stuff out there? I'm like, they're both
What?
they're both exceptional for
That's
what
like
they do.
comparing apples to oranges.
I know, I understand that. Like, and people were still going, and like all the white beta boy YouTubers trying to say this movie was gonna fail and stuff, and I'm like, you guys suck. But yeah, really good. We can have Black Panther and Shang-Chi exist at the same time.
Yes.
Internet,
Yes.
both
Fuck yeah,
can be
Eric.
great. Like, do you honestly think I'm not excited for Wakanda Forever just because that I just saw Shang-Chi? No. So they both can exist. We can have all of this. It's great.
And it will exist as number 2 on our ranking so far.
I'm okay with that.
Were you also surprised at what I thought of my thoughts on Guardians,
I mean,
considering how much shit I was talking?
you're gonna
'Cause
hear a
you're
lot of
not-
shit from me.
Listen, no, you were right. It was just because I hadn't seen it since my original watching, but I have seen Guardians 2 more than I've seen Guardians 1.
And when I rewatched Guardians 2, I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this since theaters all the way through, and it's a much better movie than I thought it was. I just think that what made it so strong is when all the characters had something going on with them, not just Peter.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Before
number
we move
2,
to plugs.
Shang-Chi.
Yes. Oh, I guess I'll recap the list and then I'll say my piece. Here's the top 10 we've got so far. Number 10, Thor. Number 9, Iron Man 2.
We don't even have to mention the other 2 anymore. Here's our top 10.
Number 8, Iron Man. Number 7, Iron Man 3. Number 6, Black Widow. Number 5, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 4, The Avengers. Number 3, Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. You said it yourself, bitch. Number 2, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And number 1, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Before we move to plugs, I almost forgot to say one of the greatest lines of this movie, which is, you aim at nothing, you hit nothing.
Oh my god!
Fantastic life advice for you all to take with you. Yeah. Eric, anything to plug today, sir?
I will say, I'm sorry, Thor: Dark World. You're no longer a top 10 film here at the Penultimate Conquest. So its day has come. So what's going on with me? Eric C. Ginn here on Twitter. Follow me and stuff. Ruby is technically going to be here next month, and I just don't know what to do. Like, I'm really excited. It's going to be a scary time, but we'll see how that goes.
What's updated?
So obviously everyone knows there was a pretty catastrophic storm that hit the United States last week. It affected us down here in the South, and it affected Ruben and everyone up there in the Northeast. So if you can, please go to Red Cross, wherever, donate, help people, because a lot of people lost a lot of stuff down here. It was terrifying, the amount of stuff, damage that happened down here. So if you can donate to any organization that's helping people in need, please do that. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Ruben, I see you typing away. You want me to save you for next?
Yes, please.
Okay. You can follow me at ISO Christian. I tweet a lot of random stuff, but there's updates here and there on projects I'm working on. Projects like you'll be seeing on the Penultimate Conquest soon that I won't share any details yet, but just keep an eye out there. I also do I also do a movie podcast every week called Large Popcorn. This week we're recording an episode that's actually not a movie. It's a spoiler cast on Returnal featuring none other than Italiano film bro and friend Hugo Panay. So pretty fun episode ahead of us. And I also do a weekly video game show on podcast PXN. We'll run you through the nerdiest. Wait, that's the kind of funny thing. We run you through the video game news of the week and what we're playing. So peep all that stuff.
Okay, cool. I also want to put to a vote. Like, we should definitely change your intro to co-host of PXN. You know, just put that.
I'm at a
there.
mini title, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever's.
All right.
What we've got is I actually like the curator cinema. It's funny. I like it.
I know. Thank you. I made it up myself. Anyway, you can find me, of course, at that guy Tuesday on Instagram and Twitter. We got the upsetting news this weekend that Charlie Cox is not in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer.
Not in that trailer. Yeah, he's
Not in that trailer. Not in that trailer. But who knows if he'll show up.
I didn't get the Spider-Man trailer before my.
I also
Neither.
didn't get it.
Neither.
Me either. Okay, I thought it was just me. I got really upset.
I would have loved to have seen a pumpkin bomb on the big screen.
However, the Eternals trailer, I finally saw it.
Ooh,
Fucking fire!
Yeah.
it was tight.
It was really good. Really good.
Yeah.
This week on the Penultimate Conquest, we are doing our PlayStation Showcase predictions.
Oh my god! Totally forgot. Oh my god! Let's go.
And I've got
Let's
predictions,
go.
man.
Spider-Man 2. Let's go, baby.
No way.
I'm putting it out there.
No way. That's not happening.
I'm replaying Remastered right now, so I got all that Spidey energy in me right now. So let's go.
I don't like
I'm
that at
feeling
all.
it. I'm feeling it. Spider-Man 2. It's happening.
Well, we'll save that for the predictions.
Shoot your web in
Right?
me.
Oh God. Oh. I just gagged.
Oh yeah, they're
I
showing
just
a Marvel
gagged a
trailer
little.
right now. On
Do me a
TV.
favor,
Let's go.
Eric. If you could just, message me your predictions, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, because I'll be at work, so
Yeah.
I'll send you mine, and you.
You can also call out on Thursday. I'm just saying. Or just be like, I'm coming in late.
I gotta save that PTO for all that.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, again,
Big
you're coming
time
in
off.
late. You're coming in late. I'm just saying. Well, we'll see what happens.
I think we didn't forgot to mention in news. Paul Bettany says he has a lot of ways he wants to take White Vision. So I thought that was neat.
I had no
Basically,
idea you
thinks
said
about
this.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I didn't know that either. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. we are doing the PlayStation Showcase predictions on the Penultimate Game Show. We were going to do State of the Union, but then Sony was like, "We got a showcase coming out. Let's fucking get wrecked," I am also continuing my Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island expansion playthrough tomorrow at 8:30 EST or EDT, whatever the fuck the time zone is. Wednesday, I've had a real hard struggle to get people to come on this fucking cross media show to do Netflix. Like, come on, people. You want to be on the show, hit me the fuck up, okay? I'm gonna try something new. Best Netflix originals is the topic of the cross media show this week. Hopefully Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll see. And of course, we are doing a PlayStation Showcase live reactions Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. If I recall correctly, I think that's the right time. I could be wrong.
No, it's at
No.
3. So it's gonna be 4 p.m. Eastern for you.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, good.
Which means I can actually watch this damn thing before I go to work. So I'm very excited.
I mean, you can also just
Nice.
be on the show. But anyway, that's all we got. That's all she wrote. Murder. That's all. That's it. Just murder. Murder is
Angela
all she
Lansbury
wrote.
about to come through that door right now. And
Murder
choke you
is
for
all
missing
she
our first
wrote.
show.
All right. With that being said, Excelsior.
Excelsior.